Sorry I missed Friendsgiving.
If we would have had you there, we definitely would have beat Toronto.
That's right. But, don't feel bad that it might cost us the fourth seed. It's fine.
You lose to a Canadian team, you get what you get.
That's fair. Essentially, we lost to 2 Canadian teams. I mean, Portland counts, right? We're close enough.
In Scoot Dubs Canadian?
Scoot Dubs.
Benedict Mathurin is Canadian. We should probably not make fun of his home country.
Okay, fair enough. Shaden Sharp, is he Canadian?
I think so.
Okay. Jamie Grant, Ayton. I don't know. They're all Canadian, right?
A bunch of guys are.
I think Ayton's from the Bahamas.
Okay. Which is Canadian, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, and
I was all part of the British Empire at one point, I think. So
Whichever it was.
I refer to it as the Canadian Empire, but sure, whatever. Semantics.
Nemhard is Canadian too.
Yep.
Yeah, no, we have a strong Canadian flavor on the team.
And O'Shea Brissett from
the sauce.
Joey, I really hate to break it to you right now.
No, well,
he's no longer on the team.
Yeah, but he's still Canadian.
But he's no longer
we have
Pacer.
a history.
Oh, a history. Okay, I thought you were talking about our current team.
No. I'm saying we have a history. The article was from last season, but the Pacers started 3 Canadians in the lineup. But I'm just saying this is not new for us. We do 2 things: we play guys from Canada, and we draft guys from UCLA. Right? Like that's what we do.
That's 2 things that we do. Yeah. We score 140 points and lose anyway. Those are the other 2 things we do.
Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm going to be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
That must be Jeremiah. Put some shoes on.
That train is off the track.
Who doesn't love the bouncy castle?
Hitler.
Just prepare to... just prepare to be awash in undebeatable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You are listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast. Today is December 3rd, and this is episode 672. Coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana, I'm your host, Joey Gaffrida, the man behind the dials. This show, we're going to discuss 3 games from the week, games against Portland and 2 against Miami. Joining me this show are all 3 of our analysts, coast to coast, like buttered toast. First, from the high school home of Jameson Brewer, Silver Spring, Maryland, it's the doctor, Jason Triplett.
What is up, Pacers fans? What is up, Undebeatables? Shout out to my niece, Ava, who is celebrating her 11th birthday today.
Shout out.
Yeah, getting older. Having a good time.
From Asheville, North Carolina, he's our in-house bartender, mixing up the drinks and the crappy jingles. It's John. Life finds a way. Colson.
What is up, Pacer Nation? What is up, Undebeatables? Shout out to Canada.
Just in general.
Yeah. They deserve it.
All right.
They work hard.
Sure. Except on Boxing Day, right?
Yeah, well, everybody deserves a day off.
That's what Christmas is for.
Them's his fight words, Joe.
Okay. From Boise, Idaho, out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
What's going on, fellas? Shouting out the in-season tournament while I can.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. Before we get into the show, we'd like to remind listeners that they can support us, the longest running Pacers podcast, by heading over to patreon.com/undebeatables, and you can support our show for as little as $1 per month. We do have lots to talk about with the in-season tournament, but before that, we do want to discuss the 3 games from this past week. First game, we still got to talk about this. Pacers take on the Portland Trailblazers Monday, November 27th, and come up just short, losing 110-114 to the Blazers. This is a new look Blazers team, but they still have Jeremy Grant, and he dropped 34 on our heads. DeAndre Ayton's there, 22 for him, 22 in 13, and our old boy, non-Canadian Malcolm Brogdon, playing for the Blazers now. 24 points, 7 assists. He was looking pretty solid this game. The Pacers side, Halliburton puts up 33 for us, 33 and 9. Did not get his double-double. And not enough on the Pacers side, kind of getting it away from us towards the end. And we made a nice comeback, but there just was not enough time to get there. Pacers had a couple days off, then headed to Miami. Thursday, November 30th was the first of the 2 games against the Heat, and they lose this one, 132-142. Some exciting moments, and they had a good, strong showing in the middle section of the game, and the Heat took this one away and had a nice victory. Jimmy Butler was looking pretty annoying that game. 36 points, 11 rebounds. On the Pacers side, Obi Toppin was looking fine. 25 points, which has been one of his better showings of the season. Tyrese Halliburton, of course, put 44 down, 44 and 10, back to his double-double. But 44 points was one of his highest scoring games of the season, but not enough to take the first one. Second one, Tyrese out with, quote, illness in the game before the quarterfinal in-season tournament game, so he must have needed time to get better. But even without him, Pacers win this one 144-129, and I think there was this. What was the stat during? Somebody put it in the Slack. It was how many assists was that? 35 assists on 56 buckets. Thanks, Jason. That's a high flying, good ball sharing offense. 30 points from Bruce Brown and another 22 from Toppin. 3 double figure scores on the bench: Nesmith, Mathurin, and McConnell. Jason, this I don't know. First 2 games, not so great. This last game, even without Halliburton, we get a nice win on the road in a nice offensive effort there. What were your highlights of the week?
Well, I mean, that last game, of course. I mean, anytime this team can pull out a victory without Tyrese Halliburton is a bonus.
Yep.
And I mean, especially this game, they started out pretty rough. I mean, the first quarter they scored not that many points, and so to come back and sort of dominate, frankly, the way that they did down the stretch was just super impressive. Great minutes from Obi Toppin in this game, defending the aforementioned annoying Jimmy Butler. His length really bothered Butler, and Butler is just a master at drawing fouls, and he's so smart, and he gets guys into foul trouble, and to be able to learn from game 1 and do better in game 2, that's you gotta love that. And McConnell was particularly impressive too, I thought. Yeah, I thought everybody played a really solid game there. The effort was fantastic and epitomized by, I thought, 2 plays towards the end of the first quarter. So there was one play where Buddy Hield, who just can't throw it in the ocean this week, so he misses a 3, but hustles back and makes a steal. Miami tries to do a quick hit ahead, but Buddy had hustled back and intercepted the pass. And then at the end of the quarter, the Pacers had kind of started to get some momentum. I think it was T.J. McConnell took the last shot. They had 2 seconds left, so he rushed it up the court, tried to make a layup, missed it, but Aaron Nesmith was right there to dunk it. It ended up not counting. But I think that those 2 plays for me sort of epitomized the effort that team put into that game, which I thought was a great response after the Thursday game, which was just, we got our asses handed to us in the fourth quarter. We just got taught a lesson in NBA basketball by the Heat and Jimmy Butler in particular. And so it was, the coaching staff and all those guys get credit for coming out and performing, I think, in that Saturday game. That was a highlight for me.
Oh, well, these back-to-backs, especially in the same building, felt like one continuous game, and this felt like a little bit like the tale of 3 halves, or, whatever.
4.
Tale of 3 thirds. So we come out, in the beginning of that first game and just put the smackdown on Miami. We're just scoring at will. We were blitzkrieged them. They had no plan for our speed, for the way that we just could score at will. And they went into halftime. They come out, and you're right. They had veteran response. They started playing defense. They were figuring out how to score. And Jimmy Butler and the whole team just took away what we like to do and what makes us interesting and special, right? And then I felt like the start of game 2 in this back-to-back was sort of the same. They kind of were out-muscling us. They were kind of beating up on the young kids that don't really know how to play basketball. And then we came back in that second half. I mean, you're right. We carved a way back to, I think, almost even, or even at halftime of that game too. And then just played really solid basketball. We started putting 3 guys in the paint, which I've not seen all season, to deal with Butler, and we also started going to the basket a lot more than we had done most of the season against this team, because they were having trouble defending it. You're right. We were struggling hitting threes some of this week, and so we started going to the basket, and this was a professional win in that second game. So, tale of 2 thirds.
Sure. So we did get a little help from the injury bug, and that Bam Adebayo goes out in the first half of the first of those 2 games, opening up the lane for us to hit layups at will against one of the best defensive teams that we've seen in modern history. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it is what it is. I'll tell you that first game from Tyrese was incredible. I don't know what it is about him in the Heat, but he loves playing those guys. His previous career high had been 43 last December, and then he posts up 44 in that first game, which, of course, we end up wasting. But, credit to the Heat. They started really showing a lot of different looks in that second half, pushing him out to half court with double teams and really trying to make him work harder, and mostly trying to help Boston get some film on how to slow him down for the in-season tournament, I think. Right. So, it was a great response from the team in that second game. You'd have hoped that after how bad our game against the Trailblazers was, that we'd have been able to win the first half of this. But unfortunately, just not enough help for Tyrese.
Yeah, I mean, if we could have, the Portland game we'll get to in a bit, but even in the first Miami game, we shot horribly from the 3-point line.
Terrible. Poor Bud.
And if we, like Colson, you were like, we were whooping them in the first half. Like, we could have easily been up 30.
If we'd been up 30, we wouldn't have lost that game.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Just
the 3-pointer.
We were missing so many open shots.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shots we usually hit.
64 or something to a Miami team that is not exactly the best offensive unit on the planet.
Oh, we can't play defense at all, Harper. That's not my point. My point is that we put up a lot of points, even though we were missing threes in that first half, in that first game against them. And what does Miami average? They've got to be one of the worst,
I think one
offensive teams
like
in the league.
They're low mediocre.
They were doing what they wanted in the second half of that game.
A lot of layups on both sides. In fairness,
they were there was a lot of. It was a layup line.
It was a layup line. Yeah.
That's why I said in that second game, in that second half, putting three guys in the paint actually made a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll take the L for the Portland game. We couldn't hit the broadside of a barn and
8 of 33 from the range. Is that right? 35.
Yeah, and the game was within striking distance the entire time. It's not like Portland got out more than 6. I think 6 points maybe was their biggest lead, maybe 8. But stupid Malcolm Brogdon just owned us.
Couldn't stop him.
Just owned us. It was unbelievable, and I will take the blame for that for all the shit I've talked about Malcolm Brogdon over the years. So.
Yeah. Well, he clearly had us circled on the schedule.
Yeah. Especially since he got traded from Boston. We did it right by him and gave him, he wanted to go to Boston, but after that he's like, all right, screw these guys.
He's gonna have a tough time yoking on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
That's why he's taking it out on us.
You gotta take it out on us, right?
Rick Carlisle was not happy about this Portland loss. I don't have the full quotes here, but he said, I don't bellyache about missed shots. Indiana fans can tell when a team is playing as hard as they possibly can play, and they did not do that tonight. We were at home, and Portland was, is not as good as us, and
not even close.
And we were missing shots. And what he's saying is, I don't care if we miss shots, play hard. And he went on to say, again, I don't have the quotes, but basically look, we have to look in the mirror as a coaching staff because we're not doing the right things to inspire these guys to play hard. He talked about how he's been very happy with the way the team has played during the in-season tournament games, but we don't seem to have the same flair or the same intensity when we're playing other games. And he's got to figure out what that means. He had a mental breakdown during the post game conference, and he was very disturbed by this loss, as was I. This was a winnable game, and if we're a game out of getting the 6th seed versus a play-in tournament at the end of the season, this will be one of those games you look back on.
The quote was, getting up for in-season games and thinking that we can walk out and just beat other teams is ignorant. I've got to do a better job convincing our guys that, so it's very disappointing. We all own it. I own it just as much as anybody in there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Some sort of a nervous breakdown, but he was mad.
He's far more articulate than I am, is what I've learned. Shockingly.
Yeah, and that's one too. When you go in and look at this week on paper, you figure even if you win a game against Miami, you're not going to be able to get both, right? And if you want a winning week, you got to pick off Portland. You're at home. You're a better team. You've really got to have that circled and come in prepared to win a basketball game. And we were not together. Certainly, we missed some shots, but you can't get out hustled for 48 minutes in the NBA.
No, definitely
you can lose
not.
games.
And that it was attention to detail too. I mean, the thing that killed us in that game was turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean, we committed 20 turnovers against the Portland team that's not a very good team. I mean, they're long, sure, and their length was giving us a problem, but a lot of the turnovers that we had were unforced at least the part of the game that I saw. And so that's just a lack of attention to detail and being professional game to game. In a long season where it's the NBA, any team can beat you on any night. Like these, everybody gets paid to play. So, and so that's now by my count 4 games. I think we're going to be ruining or potentially ruining. So this Portland game, that Toronto game that we were in the building for,
Right.
The Charlotte game,
Never lose to Charlotte.
and that Chicago game. Like, those are 4. I mean, and you know, when the first one happens or one of them happens in an individual vacuum, you're like, yeah, you know, these things happen. You know, it's an NBA season, but these are starting to pile up now, right?
Well,
and
I mean, those represent half of our losses. As good as this season has started for us, we are 10-8. Like, that is not that good.
no.
And when we're playing well, we look incredible. We've got when Tyrese Halliburton is doing what he does, he's like an MVP level player right now. And we're 10-8.
And we're putting up historically great offense. Literally, if the season stopped now, we would be the highest scoring offense in the history of the NBA. And we're still 10-8.
And we are rapidly approaching the January to be wary of.
Yeah.
Is that what we decided on?
Finally nailed it. Nailed it.
I thought of that one today. So.
That's pretty good. The wary January.
So we better. I mean, we need to string together a 4 or 5 game win streak, I think, in December at some point, and just really get some momentum going. I think, and
if only we could be as good as Orlando.
Yeah,
man, they're on fire right now. No, I did want to shout out one individual this week. I was very down on Obi Toppin. The pickup, I thought it was kind of like we'll see what he is. He's just an athlete. He seems to really be figuring out his role. He had, 25 points in one of these games this week. But every game I watched, he was active. He was active defensively. He was, he's doing the alley-oops, which you expect, but he's also hitting 3-pointers, which I didn't expect. I thought it was a great week from Obi Toppin, and he deserves Player of the Week for me. I mean, of course, Halliburton's going to deserve it every week, but outside of Halliburton, who no longer counts in Player of the Week, I'm going to vote in Obi Toppin.
Don't sleep on exceptional athletes.
Yeah, I mean, he's looked really good and engaged, and I'm like, where's my rookie Jarris Walker? No, this guy looks like he's earned his starter's minutes, and I'm excited. So
yeah, I mean, that game last night, 22 points on 7 of 8 shooting, 4 or 5 from the range, 4 or 4 from the line. Only 2 rebounds and 2 assists, but 4 blocks and a steal, which reflect the amazing defense that he played against Jimmy Butler. I mean, he really gave him a problem. And, so I agree.
He's figuring some stuff out and really making his imprint on this team. So, shout out Obi.
Obi-Wan.
That's right.
All right, I think that's a good encapsulation of this past week. Looking forward, Jason, I don't want to steal your thunder on the preview for this week.
But he's going to.
Go for it.
Also, real quick,
It's a complicated preview.
Why is Obi Toppin's number not 1? So it can be Obi-Wan.
Good question.
We've got the upcoming game on the calendar this week, of course, is the in-season quarterfinal matchup versus the Boston Celtics. And we won the home court advantage on this one. So Indiana playing Boston Monday evening, tonight, as you listen, 7:30 p.m. on TNT. Get some of that national TV. We mentioned we had Pacers 10-8, Boston having a great year, 15-4. One of the leaders in the Eastern Conference, and even though it's on paper, it's a 2-3 matchup. It's a small sample size for those. Boston is not going to be a pushover. It doesn't matter that we're going to be at home. Harper, what are you looking for in this matchup? Are there any key matchups against players that we're going to have to win to come out on top of this game to send us to Vegas?
Well, first of all, good thing we did get home court advantage because the Celtics haven't lost at home yet this year. So that's good news for us. And we lost 104-155 last time we saw these guys. That was in Boston. In that game, we gave up 30 points to Jason Tatum along with 12 rebounds, and they had 8 guys in double figures. So when I'm thinking about matchups, I mean, not letting 8 guys get to double figures would be a great start. I mean, our bench is going to have to be huge. We're just going to have to do a better job up and down the board. We're going to need they're going to come out, I assume, and they'll have watched that Heat film, and they're going to want to get on Tyrese Halliburton early and make him work hard all game. So other people are really going to have to step up. Our three-point shooting is going to have to be much improved over what we saw this week.
Much better than that Boston game when we went 5 of 37 in that game.
And they do,
but that's not an accident.
There,
yeah, they do a great job of defending it. Right, you're talking about one of the best defensive backcourts in the league with Derek White and Drew Holiday. This is a tall task. I think the Celtics right now they've got to be one of the top teams to win the NBA title. And we're not in that conversation because we can't stop anyway. But they can. We might have the most high-octane offense in the league, but we also will give them 155 points on a platter. So we're going to have to do something different than we did last time and figure out how to score more points. And I don't know that we have those answers. I mean,
we're not going to score 156.
I mean, we can. We're capable of it.
Can we? Against Boston?
Oh, not against Boston, no. But against other teams. I think are they completely healthy? Isn't somebody out for them? Is Porzingis out?
Porzingis, I think, is out.
He's a maybe, I heard.
I mean, go attack with the bigs, I guess. Let's go Miles Turner.
13-6 last time we saw each other. He was not the biggest part of our problem.
I agree. I would say that I read an article that said that the pick and roll with Halliburton and Miles Turner is 1.51, or 1.53, which is like the highest in the league in a pick and roll.
You're talking points per possession.
Yeah, points per possession. Sorry. Thank you for explaining my nerdiness. And, there is a chance to just go to that well over and over again, which we do in spurts. But why not just be Stockton and Malone this game and just pick them apart?
Yeah. I think running one play over and over should be enough to beat Boston.
You know what I mean.
I mean, so yeah, I think that there's
also hit threes.
There's maybe 2 or 3 things that I think I'd be interested in following in this game. So the first is in that first Boston game, Tyrese Halliburton didn't play. So just seeing the difference in, hoping that Tyrese overcomes his non-COVID illness and is able to play tomorrow. He brings a completely different pace to this team, even though, we saw them last night do really good offensive things against Miami.
We did.
I think that Tyrese just is a completely different beast. And so that's one thing. The second thing is Derek White just ate our lunch in that game. And so somebody's got to prevent him from getting into the paint, because that's where it all starts, right, for them. That's what made life so easy for them. And so that's a challenge to, Buddy Hield or Halliburton or whoever ends up guarding Bruce Brown.
Yeah, Bruce Brown also went 1 of 6 in that first contest. So if you play terrible defense and terrible offense, it's not going to get us very far.
Yeah, and don't you have to put Brown on like Jaylen Brown?
Potentially. But so that was my third point. Is I think that on the heels of this success against Jimmy Butler, I think Carla is going to throw Obi Toppin onto Jason Tatum.
Okay.
At least a fair amount, or whichever one of them is
Hot.
eating our lunch. Yeah, exactly. Which is going to be one of them. So I'll be interested to see how that sort of matchup game sort of gets deployed. Because Tatum is an incredible offensive basketball player this year. And the real thing that he's changed this year is he's bulked up and he's stronger. And so putting size on him and sort of maybe limiting his ability to go down into the post, can help a couple things. Because it will prevent them from drawing fouls and doing the Jimmy Butler on us and help us stay, in a quick transition game or whatever. So,
I start wearing them down for the postseason now.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think if Porzingis is there or not is a big deal. Porzingis is just a huge human, and he hits threes, and he can post up, and he can rebound.
He did officially get ruled out, it looks like.
Oh, he did? Okay. Well, that helps us a lot because Al Horford is a beast in the paint. He's going to get all the rebounds. He's going to play the defense, but he's not that big of an offensive threat anymore at 39 years old or whatever he is. So on some level, maybe you can kind of ignore him a little bit offensively, and that helps.
He's not hitting threes.
Yeah, no, I mean he shoots them, but not like he used to. He's not Porzingis as a threat offensively, so that does give us a little bit of hope. I also think that this maybe gets won with the bench. I know that it's going to be tight rotations. I think this will probably be playoff rotations for Boston, but if Nimhard and Mathurin, and Jalen Smith can come on and Neesmith can come do some special things in their limited minutes, might actually turn the tide in this game. So I'm gonna say the bench is going to be our.
I think we got to play deep in this one. We got to keep our front five fresh, and I think Isaiah Jackson's probably gonna have a place in this game.
I
kind of
agree with
athletic defending. We're gonna need bodies to throw at these guys,
and a lot of size because they're so big and so scary.
And they may just come small against us too without Porzingis. I don't think they care.
Yeah, but I do think they're gonna run. I think they'll probably run a tight rotation if we can wear them out with our depth. That'd be great. They don't have a deep bench.
Well, last time they played 13 guys against us.
Well, yeah, when you're up 50, it's fairly easy to play the entire squad.
Yeah,
they were calling the coach's son and being like, "Hey, you want to see some minutes?"
And Delano Blanton.
Oof. You know what? Actually, I was going to talk shit about Blanton, but I do have his poster in my room.
By the way,
I've got his
go back
whiskey in
to
my
a previous comment that you made, Colson.
What's that?
Obi Toppin does wear number 1.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Why did I not know that? I watched
don't
the
know.
game. I should know that. Why is he not Obi-Wan then?
He is.
We just became Obi-Wan.
He's always.
I think that's his nickname.
It's always been.
Basketball reference.
Why am I just learning this? I'm the nickname
no,
guy.
It's not.
Well, we talked about it once. You just weren't listening.
I was probably drunk. We could just call him Kenobi.
Yeah, let's workshop it.
Or You're My Only Hope.
Okay, so the Pacers play Boston on Monday, and depending on the results of that game will dictate the rest of the week. So if they win that game, they will travel to Las Vegas and play the winner of the Bucks-Knicks game on Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern time.
That would be so exciting. I'm really rooting for this.
That's no fun for you, Harper. You gotta, just
skip work.
Call in sick, I guess. If they lose that game, if we lose
non-COVID illness for him,
right?
3 martini
if we lose
lunch.
That game, then we play on Friday against probably the team that loses the Milwaukee Knicks game. If we win if we win Monday and then win Thursday, then the championship game for the NBA Cup is Saturday in Vegas again. So you got to block off Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, okay, to watch Pacers basketball.
Well, so here's the deal, though. Like, we only have one nationally televised game all season. We've added one by getting to the quarterfinals. We have a chance to go to 2 more and hang out in Vegas. Let's do it. These guys have played really well in the in-season tournament. Beating Boston's going to be a real big task. But if we do that, I'm not afraid of the rest of this whatever stupid squad. What? Knicks or Bucks? What? Who else? Who cares? I don't know. Whoever's in the West, I'm not afraid.
So
We just got to get over this.
If we win the first game of the in-season tournament, you're predicting we win a championship then?
We win the in-season championship.
Well, but if the Bucks don't mean anything and they're favored to win a championship, at that point, aren't we just favored to win everything?
I don't know if we can beat the Nuggets. Maybe the Nuggets aren't in this, so I feel pretty good about that.
Okay.
Gotcha.
They weren't good enough to make the in-season tournament. Just saying.
That's an excellent point. So yes, if we beat Boston tonight, then we're going to win an NBA championship. That's my prediction.
Love it. Joey, what you got? What's your prediction?
Sweep.
Right.
Sweep the week.
Yeah.
Now, if we
Bring home
don't,
some hardware.
if we don't win
Yeah, I
Monday,
want some hardware.
if we don't win Monday, they give us random basketball games to play, and we don't know what those
Yep.
are. Okay.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
TBD. It says on the schedule for Friday.
Okay. All right.
I know it didn't matter for. I guess. What are you guys' predictions? The rest, Jason, did you give your? You think we're gonna beat the Celtics?
No, I think the Celtics are going to beat us 156 to 104.
Ooh. Wow.
I'm gonna
And then
say
Coulson will have a Coulson and Carlisle will both have
a post game
Nervous
meltdown.
nervous breakdowns. yeah.
No, I'm gonna say it's 124 to 136. Boston, and then they pair us against Detroit on Friday, and we lose somehow. And then I
We won't get the joy of playing Detroit. We're going to have to play one of the teams that's actually advanced in the tournament.
Okay. I was gonna say whatever. Whoever loses. So the Knicks or the Bucks.
we're playing
right?
the
I get
Knicks.
it.
Yeah.
They're the Knicks. All right. So we'll play the Knicks, and we'll lose it to them, and I'll just I'll cry in the fetal position on the bathroom floor.
So tune in next week.
I'll take 1 and 1.
We're actually
1 and 1.
Knicks.
1
We
and
beat the
1.
Knicks.
Okay.
for our patrons. We'll do a live stream of Coulson crying on the bathroom floor.
Perfect.
This would be our best fundraiser ever.
I know I read this for the in-season tournament, but the tiebreaker thing, I know we sort of had mentioned this before, but I as a Pacer fan, we're 4-0, so it doesn't matter to us. But I was looking at the the final standings, and there was definitely some the tiebreaker. It's just your net score for the tournament. Makes it certainly made a difference for some teams. That did have good enough. I mean, Group C in the East, had 3 teams at 3-1. It was the Magic were 5 points away from from advancing.
So we should have played worse so we could exercise our tiebreaker.
Well, if we would have been, so the Bucks were first place, the number 1 seed, because they were plus 46, and we were plus 39. And if we would have
Run up the score on some of those dumbass teams.
yeah, we could have been playing the Knicks instead.
Sounds preferable.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that it, our road, could have been a little bit different, but it's generated some discussion, I think, around competition in the NBA, as a whole. Some people were crabby about it because it's people running up the score, but that's like the only way to advance for some of these teams. It's if you lose a game, then you got to win the tiebreaker. And then other guys were saying, "Hey, this is great. Like this is just no judgment, just pure balling, basically. Like just kind of going all out." So I think it's interesting. I think that assuming that we'll do this again next year, it may change a little bit of the strategy early, to pour in the points. And so, I mean, Pacers know how to do that part. I'm surprised we didn't win. I guess I'm not surprised because we don't rebound or defend, but we can pour the points.
Yeah, that would
in.
be our version of rubbing it in. It's like we actually play defense.
Or rebound the ball. What are you doing? Yeah. Well, cool. We've got an exciting week of basketball, or at least an exciting game of basketball, and then some other roll the dice, see who we play game of basketball. But hopefully we'll be in watching the team in Vegas later this week, and hopefully they'll be hoisting the NBA Cup over their heads, and we know what it looks like because it's on every court. So, all right, team. Well, until then, we'll be back with you on Thursday. But until then, we'll be all over the social medias. We're on Twitter at Undebeatables. We're on Facebook.com/TheUndebeatables. Our website is TheUndebeatables.com. There's a contact form there. You can use that to send us a message. An email. Shout out at TheUndebeatables.com, and at the website /store is where you can buy some merch.
For the architect, Danny Walsh, once and always Hall of Fame coach, Bobby Six Leonard, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Turn out the lights, the party's over. If we win this thing, I'm just going to be in tears on the next episode. Just going to be crying tears of joy.
So we're guaranteed tears. Tears either way.
Tears if I'm sad, tears
in a fetal position
My favorite
versus
kind of
tears.
tears.
Oh, yeah.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed tears. That's all you
The
got.
good thing, though, is if, we live stream them, I think we'll get more money. I think we just get more support for the fetal position
I
one,
agree.
Yeah.
Nobody wants tears of joy.
We play that like Sarah McLachlan song in the background, just really tug at the heartstrings.
That's right. It does adopt a lot of dogs. It could really help us with our Patreon.
Was it the Natalie and Bruglia?
What?
Torn?
Are you saying words?
It's a different song.
No, I know it's a different song.
Okay, gotcha.
There's part of the song about her, being on the bathroom floor.
Oh, gotcha. Right.
I just assumed he was in the bathroom when he was doing this.
I'm not going to be pooping. It'll be.
Yeah, I didn't.
It'll be.
I did not think that.
I stopped.
It's a tale of three halves.
Corey Joseph, we used to have on our team.
Still looking up Canadians, are you, Joe?
That there's a page that has list of all Canadians in the NBA. And that wasn't what I was doing before. Tristan Thompson we had on our team for a second.
Mm-hmm.
True.
We had essentially
about
the
it.
Canadian national team for a while.
I mean, kinda. Colson, do you know which Canadian has the most NBA championships?
Ooh, this is a fun question. No. Detlef Shrimp.
Fox.
Rick Fox.
Yeah, who's apparently Canadian.
He has 3, right? He was the 3-peat with the Lakers.
He's 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is 3's the most.
And then everybody who played for Toronto got 1. They were unofficial Canadians for that championship.
No.
Okay.
No.
You're telling me that Kawhi Leonard is not considered a Canadian for his championship?
Not according to this Wikipedia page.
Well, I think you should ask some Canadians.
I think Kawhi Leonard would have to be human first before qualify as a Canadian.
Yeah, why did the aliens give up on him?
Not sure.
They just were like,
They got too excited about Wembanyama.
Well, maybe it was when Tim Duncan went back to the hive mind. He was like, "Yeah, let's focus on Wembanyama and give up on Kawhi Leonard."
On go. But no, I did that. Welcome.
Jesus, Joe. Who's in charge here?